This is the HEPI W28S, and I think it represents the biggest change to travel tripods since Peak Design introduced their travel tripod. And you can see just by looking at this tripod amongst the Peak Design and the Ulanzi tripod how significantly different it is. The video is sponsored by HEPI, and I'm really going to focus on the unique advantages you get out of this new HEPI design. The HEPI tripod isn't available at all retailers, so I will put some links in the description down below to where you can currently find it. To understand what's new about the HEPI tripod, we need to look at the Peak Design and the Ulanzi first, because they are based on a very similar design. Now, these are tripods that are ultra compact carbon fiber travel tripods, and they use a different shaped center column to be able to allow them to fold smaller. They also have an integrated ball head, so you don't have a separate ball head that comes off on either of these. So you get a travel tripod with a small center column and an integrated ball head on top. And looking at the HEPI, we have what they call the 3-in-1 travel tripod. That gives you a 50mm Pro ball head at the top. The ball head itself on its own is rated to carry up to 55 pounds. As you can imagine, neither of the ball heads on these tripods would do anywhere near that. Then you come down, and instead of a conventional center column, you have 3 center columns, but this is actually removable, and it becomes its own what they call sub-tripod. And then below that, you have the more traditional carbon fiber travel tripod. But not only does it have all these extra features, but when folded down, its girth, or its distance around so that it can fit in a water bottle holder, is actually smaller than the other 2 tripods. Looking at the price of these tripods, the Peak Design is the most expensive, the Ulanzi is the cheapest, and the HEPI is somewhere in the middle. But the HEPI has its own value proposition because you've got the separate ball head, sub-tripod, and normal travel tripod all in one. So if you added up all those components together, you're probably going to generally pay more than you're paying for the complete package anyways. The first and most obvious advantage the HEPI tripod's going to have is that it is 2 tripods in one. So you've got a smaller tabletop or low angle tripod, and you have a full-size tripod. The small low-angle tripod can be used as a selfie stick, or if you bring a second ball head, it can actually be used at the same time as a second tripod. So you can take it apart, use it separately, and then have 2 tripods to use. And a number of content creators I know that have started using this really like it for that functionality, and they're bringing an extra ball head along so that they've got the option to use both tripods at the same time. Since recording this video, I have been traveling with the HEPI travel tripod. I took it to the NAB show in Las Vegas. I created content there, and this was the only tripod that I brought. And I particularly found it really useful to have those 2 tripods in one, and I did bring an extra ball head. I also took my family on a beach holiday, and there were some deadlines as far as creating some videos around some new release lenses. And in that case, I used it there as well. I used it on the beach, and I found it really good and extremely stable, even in somewhat windy conditions. And going forward, it probably will be my #1 choice to bring with me just because of that dual tripod functionality. Another advantage to this design is it gives you a significantly more stable center column, because rather than one narrow center column, you actually have these 3 columns of support, and it gives you the equivalent of a giant strong center column, where these will be a little bit more wobbly and a little bit more prone to sag, so you're going to get just a bit of a more stable tripod when they are extended. The other cool feature the HEPI has that the others don't is it has a built-in phone clamp. So you just pull that off, and then you pull this up, and it almost seems like magic the way that comes out of the ball head. The others don't have anything like that. The other advantage that HEPI has is a patented quick release system, which is actually so good it makes you wondering if it's actually locked in. But I've kind of put it through its paces, and I've tested it pretty thoroughly, and it does seem extremely strong. But it is a quick release system. It is extremely quick. The other unique feature that the ball head has is the ability to turn on a click for the panorama function. So when that's turned on, every 10 degrees you get a click. This is good for repeating panorama motions, or where you want to get a shot every 10 degrees and make sure that you're consistent. Obviously, that's something you're not going to get from the other 2, but it's also something that you really don't get from any other ball heads out there that I've used. When you buy the HEPI tripod, you also have an option of ball heads. The first option is the HEPI quick release, and that is the easy on and off. The other one is a more standard ball head that you'd see in most Arca Swiss type setups, where you've actually got the screw mount. Now, other than that, the ball heads are exactly the same, and I think more than anything, it's just about personal preference, which one you prefer. In the past, I've always preferred this screw style one because I always felt like I could really know it was in there. I could crank it down hard and I wouldn't worry about anything falling off. But with the HEPI quick release ball head, it is quite secure, and as you've seen, I can actually shake the thing with the camera on it and it doesn't come off. So it's made me think that, hey, maybe the quick release is a quicker option and it's just as secure. But once again, this is really all personal preference. The other option that you're going to have is they have what they call combo sets.
And as I said, you can actually remove the small tripod or the sub tripod, and you can put a separate ball head on that as well as the main tripod. Now you've got two tripods to use, but you need an extra ball head to do that. And because of that, they offer combo sets which will come with the extra ball heads. And once again, you're going to have the option of the screw mount or the standard style or the quick release, just up to you. And beyond the tripod head options, there's actually some other options. And one is a set or a combo set that comes with what they call their super clamp. And this is this crazy super strong clamp. And you can use this in a couple of ways. One, you can actually attach it to the tripod, and then you can take the tripod and hold it to a fence or something when you've got a lot of stuff moving around or a pole. But you can also use this and you can put the ball head on the end of this clamp, and you can use it as like a clamp separate tripod setup. Just another interesting option. The other set that they've got comes with this phone holder. And I think this is if you want to shoot, like you're shooting a video and then you want kind of like a behind the scenes, and you want to shoot a time lapse, or if you want to use your phone as a monitor when you're shooting video, then this is this combo set that actually includes this little magic arm as well as a phone holder.
The other advantage I think this tripod has is load capacity. Now, all these companies have different ways that they rate the load capacity on their tripods, and I don't necessarily trust that to be objective. But when I look at a ball head like this and the stability of this center column, plus the lower starting point of the lower legs, I'm definitely going to trust this tripod with a lot heavier weight than I am the other two. The other thing that the Hepy has is a number of 1/4-inch mounts for mounting maybe a monitor or a phone or a GoPro for a behind-the-scenes shot. So that's just a little extra functionality you get, and they're actually built in to the smaller sub tripod. Now, all the tripods are lightweight travel tripods, but the Hepy is the heaviest by a small amount. It's 2.63 pounds, where the Ulanzi is 2.25 pounds, and the Peak Design is 2.5 pounds. Importantly, if you are going to be putting it in a water bottle holder, the Hepy is the most narrow around, so it will fit in the most water bottle holders out there. I think in almost every functional way, the Hepy outperforms the other two tripods, but they do have their own advantages. First of all, the Peak Design and the Ulanzi do get a little bit taller by about 2 or 3 inches. And when they are folded down, the Hepy is a little bit longer, once again, by about 2 inches. All three of these are great tripods, but I think if you're going to make use of the extra functionality of the Hepy tripod, the pro level ball head, the sub tripod, and the main tripod, it represents very, very good value. I'm currently working on a travel tripod roundup video, which is going to cover these 3 tripods, but a whole bunch more. And once that video is ready, I will throw it up on screen now. So if there's nothing there right now, it means that we haven't finished it yet. But check out that video when it's ready, because there's going to be a whole bunch of other tripods to choose from.